1. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Faith Gilmore watched as the coffin was lowered into the dark earth. A part of her still could not believe what she was seeing. She glanced over at the two other women standing beside her. Monique Hardings and Shannon Carmichael were in the same daze of disbelief as she was. It was like they were all stuck in some sort of weird dream. Tomorrow they would wake up from it, and Seeley would take them all to task when they told her about their strange nightmare. Me commit suicide? No way. There isn't that much depression in the world. I am the most level-headed, laid-back, not a care in the world person you know. There's no way I would ever get in a funk so blue that it would trigger me to take my own life. Yet she had done exactly that, and this was no dream. This ends the memorial service for Cecilia Graham, the minister was saying. You may all return to your cars. Faith blinked. Return to their cars and do what? Mourn some more? Leave? Ask themselves for the 1,000th time, how could this have happened? Why this happened? Especially to Seeley, who had always been the strongest of the four of them. She felt someone touch her hand, glanced up to see Monique and Shannon standing right in front of her. Faith looked at them mutely, noting that their eyes were as red as hers, their cheeks just as tear-streaked. It's time to go, Monique said softly, and Faith could hear her fighting to hold back more tears. Yes, Shannon chimed in, her voice just as tight. I need to get away from this place, quick. I need a thick slice of pizza, a strong drink, and to get laid. Hell, I need something, anything to make me forget everything I've gone through today. This week. Faith almost rolled her eyes. Shannon had always been the one they all thought had the weakest disposition. Seeley had always worried about how Shannon went about dealing with stress. How about if we go back to my hotel room, drink some wine, and chill? I'm really not in the mood to go to the repast, Faith suggested. Monique understood. Neither am I. I'm sure Seeley's family will understand if we wait and visit tomorrow before we leave. Yes, I'm sure they will, Shannon agreed. They know Seeley was more than a friend to us. She was like our sister. Faith nodded. That was true. Ever since the four of them had met so many summers ago as teens on Hilton Head Island, they were sisters. Seeley's grandparents had operated a hot dog stand on the beach, and she had been their little helper. Like Faith's parents, Monique's and Shannon's families had owned timeshare condos and made the trip each summer to the island, where the four girls had become the best of friends for life. But now one of their lives had ended. The circle they had formed more than 20 years ago was broken, and somehow they had to repair it and move on. All right, let's go. But first, let's say goodbye to Mrs. Graham. I don't want her to think we're deserting her. A couple of hours later, Faith, Monique, and Shannon had replaced their dark morning dress suits with slacks and blouses, and they were sprawled on the bed in Faith's hotel room. They were remembering the good times they'd shared all those summers long ago, from the time they were 13. Do you remember the summer when we began noticing boys for the first time? Shannon asked, laughing between sips of her wine. Seeley was acting so shy that day when that hunk from FAMU tried to come on to her. That was the first time any of us had been noticed by a college guy. Faith chuckled. Yes, I remember. We were 16, and the guy thought we were naive enough to fall for his game. Monique nodded, grinning. Yeah, he wasn't very smart. But he sure was a looker, Shannon couldn't help but add, her eyes twinkling in mischief. I think he really did like Seeley, though. Yes, Faith said, and I think she really liked him, too, which is why she did sneak off to see him that night. The room got quiet for a moment. Then Faith finally asked the question she'd been dreading. Have either of you read the letter Seeley left for you? Monique shook her head. I couldn't make myself do it. I can't imagine how depressed she must have been to do what she did, and to know even then she had been thinking about us, our friendship.